From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets. Yo. Mic working. Mic check. Should be straight right now. We good, man. So we got some stuff we want to talk about today that we fixed my overlay. Excuse me. Excuse me. So we want to talk about the Canelo things. I want to talk about a little bit of Canelo things. Dang. Hold on. Excuse me. I want to talk about some Jake Paul and Mike Tyson things as well. What else? That's about it, really. So it's probably gonna be a short show. Unless people want a rebuttal, you know how that go. It should be a short one though. But yeah, so today, of course, man, we got I did a video earlier today on what's his name, man? On Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, of course, and according to Mike Benson, he's like on Twitter, he's like the go-to guy, for the information. When it comes to boxing related news, you know what I'm saying? He's pretty accurate, very accurate. I haven't caught him wrong in any of the things he reported so far. As from my experience, he's 100%. But today he made an announcement saying that they're still trying to decide whether it's a real fight or an exhibition between Mike Tyson, Iron Mike, was more like plastic Mike, rubber Mike, or Jake Paul. Like I said, he's not fighting. Jake Paul won't be fighting Mike Tyson no matter how it goes. He's going to be fighting Michael Tyson. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not Iron Mike. But like I said, man, it's just very disturbing to me as a boxing fan, as a pugilist enthusiast, a real pugilist enthusiast. It's really like, excuse me. It's bothersome for me and disturbing because it's like, everything's a business, right? Of course. So I don't mind it from get your buddy, content creator or, in a personality or celebrity, go against Mike Tyson. That's fine. Puts money in these legends' pockets and they deserve it too, So I'm not against it from that standpoint. I'm never against it, but like I said, but what I am against is when you start to blur the lines, when the lines start to become blurred and now you don't know what's a real fight and what's just for it's all entertainment. Sports is entertainment, but you know what I'm saying? Like what's more whimsical, what's more just like a fight just for, the casual fans and, just to have fun and, give back, or what's an event and what's really actual competition. So, it gets very much so blurred when you have Mike Tyson, who's 30 years, Jake Paul senior. He's 57 right now. I think Jake Paul's 27. When the fight actually happens in July, Mike Tyson will be 58. So he'll be 2 years removed from 60. And I joke and say he's a geriatric and a senior citizen. Of course he's not. And he's still Mike Tyson as far as his mentality goes, his fundamentals, and what he knows, his skills, his knowledge. But of course, with age, your skills going to diminish. And in boxing, like I said, one of the last things that goes your power. Of course, you have power and you had the capability to knock out Jake Paul. But when the last things go is your power, kind of like an NBA player, when the last things go is your jump shot. But one of the first things to go is your explosiveness, your athleticism, your ability to duck and dodge and see punches coming and actually counter, with your reflexes, they go too. So it's, and plus your durability, your punch resistance goes fast too. So, one of the first things to go. So, but even without the safety part, a lot of people have been commenting on my video saying that, I don't know why everybody's worried about Mike Tyson. He can still hurt Jake Paul. It's not about him being able to hurt Jake Paul, and it's not even about his safety. I don't think Jake Paul is going to hurt Mike Tyson. I mean, I think he's going to do enough to win. I think he's, like I said in the video, people just hear what they want to hear. But I think he's going to do enough. He's gonna smother him. He's going to be the more athletic guy. You know, he's in shape. Jake Paul is not a threat from a real boxer standpoint, but he's definitely in shape. He definitely does boxing regimen. So, you know what I'm saying? That makes him dangerous from that point. So, you know, it is not just a given. He is 30 years younger. But what I'm saying is my most important issue is that, not that the fight's happening, but the fact that it's being considered a pro fight. So it could count like a W or an L, you know what I'm saying? And now you're starting to blur the lines. And, you know, Jake Paul has been famously or infamously calling out Canelo. We might get Canelo versus Jake Paul, because when Jake Paul beats Mike Tyson, or if he beats Mike Tyson, now he has a Hall of Fame boxer, legend boxer, iconic boxer on his resume. You know what I'm saying? And that's gonna water down, it's gonna tarnish and diminish the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, we're gonna have Gervonta Tate Davis versus Pokimane, or whoever, a big Kai Cenat or whatever. And that's just gonna greatly water it down. You know, it might seem cool for right now, but, you know, to me, even Ngannou, you know, no disrespect to Ngannou or Anthony Joshua, but, you know, same with Floyd and Conor McGregor. I think Floyd's a GOAT, but I don't think Conor McGregor should have been Floyd's 50th win. You know, it should have went down. That should have been an exhibition. You know, Conor McGregor had no experience in the professional boxing ring. You know, same way Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. You know, that should have been exhibition as well. Now, I will say Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou, that could have been a real fight, because for whether you like it or not, or whether Tyson Fury was taking it seriously or not, he said he was taking it seriously. He didn't look like he was taking it seriously. We expected to perform better. But the fact that Francis Ngannou did so well and arguably won against a world champion, a world title holder, the championship level boxer, Tyson Fury, then I'm okay with Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua. Now, based on Ngannou's performance, now that's going to be a real fight. That's fine. But to just have somebody go in there with these world championship level fighters is crazy. It's like, I don't want to see a celebrity or some person, just because they have a huge social media following or they're a celebrity, go against LeBron James in a basketball game. I don't want to see Denzel versus LeBron just because Denzel's popular. You see what I'm saying? So that's when that's what I think starts to diminish the sport of boxing, and that's where it gets kind of like, man, that's what I'm worried about. A lot of people think I'm worried about Mike Tyson. I don't think Jake Paul is gonna hurt Mike Tyson. I mean, it could happen. Don't get me wrong. It could happen. Jake Paul's a strong guy. He could easily knock out Mike Tyson, you know, just from his youth alone. And like I said, your punch durability, your punch resistance goes as you get older. You know, I don't think that's gonna happen, but that could happen. Just like Mike Tyson, I could see him. You know, your strength goes one of the things to go last. I could see him catching Jake Paul and knocking him out too. But I don't think either one of those scenarios is gonna happen. What I think is gonna happen, they're gonna play around like, you know, an exhibition, might get serious in spurts, but Jake Paul is gonna hit him and play it very safe and clinch, and it's gonna be a very sloppy fight. You know, he's gonna do enough to survive and, you know what I'm saying, look minimally good while doing it. You know, I don't know how good you could look against a 58-year-old, but hey, it is what it is. You know, people are crazy. There's some people saying that Mike Tyson's gonna knock out Jake Paul in one round. Like, what like, this is not Iron Mike of the 80s or 90s, bro. This isn't even Mike again. This is not even the Mike Tyson that fought Roy Jones. He's 5 years older than that, hell. So it's like, man, you know, and when you get older, you know, sometimes it's kind of like, you know, they say that you revert back to like a child, you know. So when you're like a child, you know, 5 years to a child is a lot more impactful than 5 years to somebody who's in their 20s or their 30s, you know what I'm saying, or 40s, like middle age or adult. And then as you get older too, you know what I'm saying, 5 years as you get older is more impactful than it is, you know, for a 20-year-old or something like that. So, you know, and I don't know, man. I just think, you know, a lot of people are saying that Mike Tyson had he was just on a cane. That was a year ago, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was a year ago. So I'm assuming he's healed. But then again, I don't know what it was, what operation he had done, if it has any residual effects, impacts, you know. So it could be consequential, you know. It could be influential and consequential. I don't know. You know, I don't think so, but it could be. You know, like I said, according to Michael Benson on Twitter, that there's still, the Texas Commission is still trying to determine whether or not it's going to be a professional sanctioned fight, and I think that's garbage, man. Like, let it be an exhibition, that's fine. I don't think anybody, well, I mean, some people will complain, but I think the majority of people have this are similar to me. The majority of logical thinking people, you know what I'm saying? That could breathe, blink, and tie their shoes all at the same time. You do that simultaneously. I don't think any of them are worried about somebody getting hurt more so as they're worried about the integrity of the sport being diminished. You know, and there's boxing anyway. There's a lot of corruption in boxing anyway, but you know, still, man, you know, there's corruption in every sport, every business, especially if it brings over millions of dollars. Also, there is another major development too, which I don't know why this was ever in question, but you know, there was some speculation that it might be with headgear, and I can't remember the guy's name, so don't quote me. He came out and say you see some official or some. I want to say he's a spokesperson for MVP, for Most Valuable Promotions, Jake Paul's promotional company. Or maybe it was somebody over there, some big wig said, some executive came out and said there'll be no headgear, so you have to worry about that. So whether it's an exhibition or not, there's not going to be headgear, which I didn't think there would be. You know, what exhibition have we seen of this caliber to have headgear? You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson, Roy wasn't headgear. Like I said, most exhibitions of this caliber, you know, won't be headgear. So I don't know who thought that would be the case. I didn't think that would be the case ever. But yeah, so those are the updates with Canelo. I mean, not Canelo, sorry. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Like, he's like, I'm worried because I don't want to see any more of this. I don't want Jake Paul to beat Mike Tyson at all. But then if he does beat him, I don't want to see Canelo and Jake Paul eventually, or you know what I'm saying, in the future, you know, or potentially or eventually in the future, because that could potentially put us down even more of a slippery slope, and that's terrible, man. Like I said, you're gonna start seeing Clarissa Shields versus Kai Cenat, or you know what I'm saying, or PewDiePie versus, I don't know, man, you know, Devin Haney or something like that. You know, it's gonna be big money. So, which of course it is a business, you go for the money, but at the same time, you know, you still want the competition. That's why it's sports, because it's supposed to be competition at the highest level. Now speaking of the highest level, you know, let's make this transition to Jake Paul and Canelo, man. Sorry, Canelo and Jaime Munguia. Canelo Alvarez supposed to be fighting Jaime Munguia, and a lot of people are upset. You know, a lot of people are upset about that. While I understand it, you know, I'm kind of indifferent. You know, I'm not even indifferent. You know, I'm definitively like, I think this is a good fight, and you know, a lot of people that are mad about the fight, a lot of people are upset about it, and I just want to tell them to
shut up, bitch.
Oh my God. Because in my opinion, if you don't like it, then boycott it. But you know why you're not going to boycott it? Because who's one of the most exciting? First of all, who's the biggest star in boxing right now? It's Canelo, right? It's must-see TV. And then what about Munguia? Who's one of the most exciting fighters to watch right now in boxing? If you pay attention to boxing, Jaime Munguia is one of the most exciting fighters to watch. You want to say he's good? I fully expect Canelo to win. So while I do share that sentiment, I fully expect Canelo to win, and I want Canelo to fight Benavidez more, of course. But Canelo versus Munguia is not a bad fight. And people say, "Oh, it's so predictable. We know Canelo's just gonna win." Like, do y'all watch boxing? Like, I wonder, like, do some people, like, I'm not saying that they not, well, yes, you do have favorites, and I would say Canelo's the heavy favorite, heavy favorite. But there's no, you never heard of an upset in boxing? Like, you never heard of an upset in boxing? Like, let's think about some of the upsets in boxing that has happened in the past. Like, was it Mike Tyson, who we were just talking about, against Jake Paul? Was it Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas? Wasn't that an upset? No? That was an upset, right? Most definitely was. Who else we could think of? Speaking of the heavyweights, let's stay in the heavyweights. Let's just stay with the heavyweights right now. What about Lennox Lewis versus Hasim Rahman? When Hasim Rahman knocked Lennox Lewis out, and Lennox Lewis had to come back and he avenged his loss, but that was also another upset. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that was the upset. That was crazy, because I was like, oh, I can't believe that happened, but it was still an upset.
Me blood clot.
You see what I'm saying? So I was like, everybody was like, dang, Lennox Lewis lost, but it was crazy. But so it's like, upsets happen in boxing. You know, that's why they even have a category for it called upset of the year. Not saying that your regular upset of the year is the same as a Canelo Munguia or whatever like that, but please, let's not act like it's just a foregone conclusion. Yes, most likely Canelo's gonna win, but I'm excited for this fight. I want to see it, and just because it's not Benavidez, or Benavidez is not fighting Canelo, like Benavidez is gonna fight Vazdik. That's gonna be Alexander Vazdik. That's gonna be a good fight. I'm excited to see that. You know, so I mean, I don't know, maybe I just like boxing too much, but even let's think about some other small. Was it Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather versus Marcos Maidana? Marcos Maidana was a good fighter, a deserving fighter too of it. But no one expected that to be. Granted, Floyd Mayweather won. You know what I'm saying? So not an upset because Floyd won, but nobody expected it to be. I think the first fight was a majority decision, which warranted a rematch because it was close. You know what I'm saying? No one expected Marcos Maidana. Everybody respect Marcos El Chino Maidana, you know, from Argentina, who I like a lot. You know, expected him to do good, but not like that. You know, that was a shocker. You know what I'm saying? And even I'm trying to think. What about Pacquiao and Bradley? Pacquiao, Bradley won by split decision. Granted, I felt like Bradley lost because I thought they robbed Pacquiao. But still, these things happen in boxing, man. We didn't expect Tim Bradley to beat Pacquiao that first time, and I don't think he beat him the first time anyway. I think Pacquiao got robbed, but it still happened. You know what I'm saying? So on paper, that's an upset. Let's think about even Spencer Crawford. Spencer Crawford's not an upset because most people were thinking it was a 50-50 fight, but it was a surprise. No one thought that Terrence Crawford would run through Errol Spence like that and demolish Errol Spence like that and dismantle Errol Spence like that, especially at the rate that he did it. So to think that like these things happen, you know what I'm saying? So to act like Munguia and Canelo is just a foregone conclusion, like Canelo, like Munguia has no chance. He's just gonna go in there and get beat up like a punching bag. Munguia is exciting because he at the very least he's gonna throw punches. He's a very high volume puncher. You know what I'm saying? Throws a large frequency of punches, a high frequency of punches. They even say he blocks with his face. I think Canelo's gonna beat him up too. But to act like, oh, it's just a foregone conclusion, like upsets don't happen. I mean, even look at Fury and Ngannou. We just talked about Fury and Ngannou. No one expected Ngannou to hang with Fury like he did. You know, so like I said, it's not an upset per se because Fury won, but it was still something that was unexpected. So, hell, even Jake Paul knocking out Nate Robinson. I don't think nobody think that Nate Robinson was gonna. And I don't think anybody thought Nate Robinson was gonna get that bomb dropped on him like that and go to sleep. You know what I'm talking about? It wasn't even nap time. You know what I'm talking about? So, like, of course, I'm just joking about that one, but let's not act like this is not boxing, man. Boxing upsets happen a lot, you know what I'm saying? And Jaime Munguia just came off a good win against John Ryder, you know, and I think this is overhyped because they have different styles of fight. I think John Ryder, shout out to that warrior as well, John Gorilla Ryder, he was tailor-made for somebody's style like Jaime Munguia. But, you know, Canelo didn't stop John Ryder, so and Jaime Munguia did. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's not act like Jaime Munguia. Yes, Jaime Munguia's resume seems to be very padded. You know, he has like 40-something wins, and you could probably, the best boxing aficionado could probably only name like 4 or 5 people on his resume. Sergey Derevchenko, John Ryder, Gabriel Rosado. Anyway, I'm not gonna name other people that I can remember, but so you could name some people, but his resume does seem padded. But he has a couple good wins too. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people would have been mad at Jamal Charlo too. I talked about this before. How people would say, oh, Jamal Charlo, we don't want to see Jamal Charlo versus Canelo because Jamal Charlo ran from Canelo is going to be the same thing as Jamal. I'm like, bro, once again, man, I think that people are just dumb and they just be saying any type of BS that comes to bullshit. How can you judge Jamal Charlo based off his brother? What brothers in boxing history fight the same? You know what I'm saying? And speaking of brothers, you think you got the Klitschko's, right? What about Vladimir Klitschko and Corey Sanders? Corey Sanders got Vladimir Klitschko up out of there. Was that not another upset? Is Corey Sanders better than Jaime Munguia? Freak no, he's not better than Jaime Munguia. So to act like upsets don't happen, and I want to say too, man, if it's really that serious, boycott it. Don't watch it. But you know what? You're not going to not watch it. You're not going to not watch Double Negative. You're going to watch it because it's going to be an exciting fight. It's going to be an entertaining fight. And it's Canelo and it's Jaime Munguia. So my point is that I'm going to give you an example. I'm not saying everybody's perfect or whatever. Nobody should do it. I'm not even applauding myself. And I do think you should be able, of course you could complain if you want to complain. But complain, don't be faking the funk. Because I'm going to tell you like this. I haven't watched the NFL. I used to love the NFL, man. I haven't watched the NFL in about 5 years, 6 years. However long they did, they blackball Colin Kaepernick. I didn't like that. I thought they shit on social injustices and they shit on Colin Kaepernick's message and they manipulated it how they wanted to and they controlled the narrative and I didn't like that, so I stopped watching football. Did I make a big demonstration or a parade about it or a big deal about it? No, but that rubbed me the wrong way and I stopped watching football. And NFL, and that was hard for me. Sundays, Mondays, they were boring as hell. I used to do fantasy football with the homies. You know what I'm saying? All that was very hard not to do. But it was hard, but I did it. because I was unhappy with it. So if you're not gonna do something like that, in my opinion, if you just go say, "Oh, this is a bad fight," but then you go and purchase the fight, or you're gonna go and watch the fight, like you are, then shut the hell up. So you got to pick one, and the reason why you're gonna watch is because Jaime Munguia and Canelo is a good fight. Is it the best fight? Is it the one that we wanted? Is it the one that we want to see the most? Is it the one we long for? In Benavidez, no, but it's not a bad fight. It's not gonna be. It's not some walk in the park, say Joe Schmo that he's fighting. So. We go call it like it is too. It's just like similarly with Terrence Crawford and Chris Eubanks Jr. People are mad that we want him to fight Boots. Of course, I want him to fight Boots. And people say, "Oh, but he wants the money. And this is not a money fight." Well, Dodo, if you look at it, it's not a money fight. Chris Eubanks. Well, be honest, Chris Eubanks, I think, is a bigger money fight than Boots, because nobody knows Boots. And Chris Eubanks at least comes with another country, and he's the son of a Hall of Famer boxer, Chris Eubanks Sr. So I do think this is a bigger money fight. But the intrigue is that Terrence Crawford is moving to 160. He's moving up 2 weight divisions, allegedly. So that's what's reported. And then it's going to put him in position to make a stronger bid for Canelo, which is what he wants. And that's a money fight. So you got to think outside, not even outside the box, because that's not even that outward thing. That's just thinking one step ahead of yourself. You're thinking with one foot in front of the other. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do. Just think a little bit, and you'll see why he's fighting him. So I'm not advocating for him to fight Chris Eubanks Jr., but that's, again, just like Canelo and Munguia, is not. It poses a challenge, and it's not just a walk in the park. So excuse me. People acting like excuse me. Like, they're not going to watch these fights, man. You full of crap. Show me you're not going to watch the fight. Show me that you're really happy with it. You just want to complain, man. Some people just want to complain, man. You know what I'm saying? And they just want to complain. That's it. That's it. I think Chris Eubanks and Terrence Crawford's a good fight. Is it as good as Boots? No. But is it still good enough to where I'm going to watch it? You're damn right. I'm going to watch that one. I want to see how Terrence Crawford handles 160. You know what I'm saying? And then Canelo versus Munguia, I want to see how Canelo handles this guy that's gonna come in sometimes with reckless abandon. He gonna throw punches in bunches, and he's not afraid to fight, and he wants to fight. In fact, he encourages it. And shoot, he blocks with his face. Hell, that man, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes Munguia fight with block with his face, but it's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good high action fight. You know what I'm saying? It's like. It looked good. It looked good.
Oh,
that fight looks good, bro. It's not Benavidez, of course, but it still looks good. So, like I said, even with Jamal Charlo, man, I've got to get off that point. Like I said, when people try to write off Jamal Charlo, yeah, I would say, to me, it's more valid to write him off because he's not in a good mental state. Like, he's coming off, a hiatus of, going through some depression and emotional distress, and and a mental episode to where a mental crisis, So I understand, and he came back and he fought Jose Benavidez Jr., and that's a smaller guy. So he fought him and he fought well, but I still want to see him with somebody that's his size, for real, that's a bona fide middleweight or super middleweight, and see how he does, But him versus Canelo is not bad either. The premise that Jamal Charlo versus Canelo is bad because Jamal Charlo didn't fight good. Jamal Charlo is bigger. That's why they call him Big Charlo. You know what I'm saying? And he's stronger. It hits harder. Like I say all the time. And what brothers do you know fight alike? Takuma Inoue doesn't fight like Naoya Inoue. Naoya Inoue stronger. Man, he's a better fighter. Miguel Cotto don't fight like Jose Cotto. Miguel Cotto's a Hall of Famer. Jose Cotto's not. Vladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko don't fight like each other. You know what I'm saying? Vitaly Klitschko is more of a brawler. He more so wants to fight. Vladimir Klitschko has a glass chin. He's more fundamentals. He's going to kill you with that jab. You know what I'm saying? That man has a stiff jab. He'll knock you out with a jab and poke you to death with it. Yeah, that sounded crazy.
What?
Pause. But you get what I'm saying? So what Rafael Marquez and Juan Manuel Marquez, they don't fight alike. You know what I'm saying? Once again, Rafael Marquez will come forward more so, and I'm not gonna say come forward more so because Juan Manuel Marquez will come forward too. But Juan Manuel Marquez is more of a precise, accurate counterpuncher. You know what I'm saying? Than Rafael Marquez was. So it's like, yeah, people have similarities, but to say like, why does Jamal Charlo and Jamel Charlo suddenly fight alike? No, they don't. Like I said, you come from the same gym and you have some similarities, come from the same household and stuff like that. But to act like they're gonna fight identically because they're brothers is stupid. Show me a brotherly combination. Even there's like 5 Callum Smith, Liam Smith. There's like 5 Smiths and 5 Gary Antoine Russells. If you watch boxing close enough, you could not even tell me who they are, and I'll be able to tell the difference just from their fighting style. Andre Durrell and his brother, what's his name, man? Anthony Durrell. Like, come on, man. Yeah, so like I think that's a moot point. I think it's a terrible point. I think people just like to say stuff and just they don't really watch boxing. You know what I'm saying? That's a casual in them, but you know what I'm saying. If you don't like Jamal Charlo versus Canelo, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that it's a terrible fight. Is it Benavidez? Once again, nothing. Benavidez is the pinnacle. We want Canelo versus Benavidez. That's a pinnacle of competition right there. You know, so that's what we want the most. But that doesn't mean that anything that's not that is a bad fight. So I'm gonna watch Munguia versus Canelo, and I'm excited for it. Like I said, if you're not gonna watch it, then boycott it. And you're not gonna boycott it because you know what I'm saying. It's gonna be a good fight, no matter how it goes. And like I said, upsets happen. Upsets happen, man. So if you watch boxing, they have a category called Upset of the Year for a reason. There's been plenty of upsets throughout the history of the great history of boxing. You know what I'm saying? So who the hell expected Corey Sanders to beat Vladimir Klitschko? Nobody. Vitaly Klitschko had to go back and avenge his brother before I believe Vladimir Klitschko eventually went and avenged himself and got revenge. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so that like I said, even with Lennox Lewis and Rahman, no one expected Rahman to get Lennox Lewis out of there the first time. Shout out to Lennox Lewis too, who I think is an underrated heavyweight anyway. He's my favorite heavyweight. I think he's the best heavyweight of all time. Well, him and Ali. It's between them two, really. I just think Lennox Lewis wasn't embraced by the people like that. But Lennox Lewis, man, he beat Mike Tyson, beat Evander Holyfield. You want to say, oh, it wasn't the Mike Tyson that whatever. But I don't know. I think Lennox Lewis beat Vitaly Klitschko in a war. So I think Lennox Lewis is very slept on. I say he's always Lennox the Lion Lewis always been my favorite heavyweight of all time. You know, with Muhammad Ali, of course, him and Muhammad Ali. But yeah, anyway, I digress. You know, Lennox Lewis is also great. I brought him up because, of course, of Rahman. But Lennox Lewis, a fun fact is that he beat everybody he stepped in the ring with. He wasn't undefeated. You know, some people get so enamored and so infatuated with being undefeated. But he beat everybody that he lost to. So everybody that he ever stepped foot in the ring with as a professional, he beat. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't unbeaten. I think he had, 2 losses? But everybody he lost to, he avenged those losses. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lennox Lewis. And, yeah, man, I really think that with this boxing thing, man, we got to keep things in perspective. Yeah, it might not be the fight that you want. But hey, a lot of times the fight that we get is good. That's why I don't. That's why I don't want the Jake Paul versus Tyson because I don't mind if like I said, I don't want it to be a professionally sanctioned fight. I don't care if it's I don't care. I don't mind if it's an exhibition. But that pro shit is that's for the birds, man. Because I do not want to see Jake Paul versus Canelo. I do not want to see it. I feel like that's what's gonna happen because Canelo, as much as I like Canelo, he's been moving a little shaky lately. You know what I'm talking about? So you know I don't like to say anybody's ducking because these are warriors, and whatever his reason is, it doesn't look good for why he's not fighting Benavidez. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to say he's scared because I don't think Benavidez is the biggest threat to him throughout his illustrious career. I don't think he's the biggest threat. He might be. He's the biggest threat right now, but I think Triple G at that time was a bigger threat than Benavidez. I think him going up to fight Bivol was just as big of a threat as Benavidez. Hell, I even think him versus Austin Trout and Floyd Mayweather at that time. Now they're not the same threat, but as far as being a threat, you know what I'm saying, to you know what I'm saying, having something that you worry about, I think they're also big threats too. So I do want him to fight Benavidez, but I don't think he's scared. Now I'm not gonna argue with somebody who said he's ducking because you know it looks like he's ducking. You know that would I think it looks like he's apparently doing something. You know, and he definitely ain't fighting him. So I'm not gonna knock anybody who says he's ducking, but that's the only one I'll accept. You know, a lot of people, Canelo's been accused of ducking quite a few people throughout his career. You know, so I don't think he's ducking. But for whatever his reason is, it does. He got to do something because it looks like it. It does look like it. I will admit that. But I like the fact that Benavidez is going chasing his own destiny too instead of chasing somebody else. Because I really like Benavidez a lot. Not too many boxers I don't like. You know what I'm saying? I have boxers that are like my favorite. You know, I like Canelo a lot. I like Gervonta Tank Davis. They might be my favorite right now. I like Junto Nakatani. There's people I like a lot. You know, but as far as just me being a boxing fan, man, I put boxing first. I like boxing, so I call it like I see it. That's why I'm able to stay unbiased. It's so easy for me to be unbiased. I don't get how people are so blatantly biased. It's sickening. But what else I was gonna tackle? I was gonna tackle something else too one more time for that one time. Dang, I think that's about it though. I think Canelo versus Munguia is not the best fight because the best fight, of course, is Benavidez. But I think Munguia and Canelo is a good fight. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be excited to watch it. I think Crawford versus Eubanks is another good fight. It's not Boots, of course, but once again, you know, you gotta stop chasing people and chase your own destiny, man. Set your own path, and you know what I'm saying, make these people have to fight you, you know, which is what Benavidez did. Benavidez has done that. Boots has not done that for Crawford, but Benavidez definitely did that for Canelo. So I cannot. Yo, what up, Lenny? I can't knock Benavidez for that. And like I said, I like Benavidez a lot, just like I like Boots a lot. But you know, Boots does. Unfortunately, he doesn't bring that monetary value like Crawford said. And at this point, you know, no one could question Crawford's legacy. You know, if he doesn't fight again for the rest of his life, he's a Hall of Famer, all time great. You know, so you got to put respect to these guys. Fight these guys. These ladies and gentlemen fight everybody. Well, at least Crawford does, and I once again, just like Canelo and Benavidez, I don't think that Boots is the biggest threat to Canelo, like to Crawford's career. So why would he be scared of him? You know, you gotta listen to what the fighters say. You know, it is a business, and you know, whether you want to embrace it or not, or acknowledge it or not, that's on you. You know, I'm not saying that I care about the pockets, but that's just what it is. If a fighter says that he doesn't want to fight this fighter because they don't bring the monetary compensation that he's expecting, or he or she's expecting, the revenue generation, then you got to hear him. If you don't want to hear him, that's your business. It's not going to change the fact that they said it. And so, you know, so I don't know why you can't do the best of both worlds. I mean, you can't do both. Like I said, some people can't breathe and blink and tie their shoe simultaneously. So, but yeah, bro, there's a lot of there's something else I wanted to cover too. Oh yeah, like Tank and Frank Martin. It's like, man, and now people are saying that, you know, everybody wanted Tank to fight a slick fighter and Frank Martin, and now he's fighting Frank Martin. And everybody's like, oh, I love Frank because Frank is a 30-year-old prospect. Frank Martin is another good fighter, undefeated fighter, and you know, it's not all about being undefeated, but he's been he's ranked in every single one in IBF, WBA, WBO, WBC, ranked in top 10 in all four sanctioned bodies. So, you know, this guy's gonna be a challenge, man. You know, I think in one time in his career, early in his career, I believe he fought at 147. You know, so you know, and he's been his last two or three fights. I think his last two fights have been at 135. So it's going to be a good fight, and they sparred before. Has a good work, you know. And also too, you know, he has Derek James behind him too, in the same camp as Errol Spence, and matter of fact, Ryan Garcia there too. So it's like, you know, Ryan Garcia can help Frank Martin, you know, tell him what to expect. Not saying he doesn't study the tape, already knows what to expect. He's been sparring with him too, but you know, just from that professional standpoint, Ryan Garcia has been in that fire with Tank, you know, so he can help him out like that too. So, you know, I just think that yeah, man, I think I'm looking forward to these fights. I'm looking forward to Chris Eubanks Jr. versus Terrence Crawford. I'm looking forward to Canelo versus Munguia. I'm looking forward to Tank versus Frank. Abdul Tank Wahid or Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. I'm looking forward to these fights, man. If a fight is BS, I'm gonna call it BS. I don't think these fights are BS. I think that these fights, with the exception of Tank versus Frank, that's a fight that I want to see. That's what everybody wanted, and they're getting what they want. The people just hating that are denouncing it now for no reason. They just blatant haters. I think that's a great fight. But with the exception of Tank and Frank Martin being a great fight, I think that Canelo and Munguia is not a great fight, but it's a good fight. I think Eubanks and Terrence Crawford is not a great fight either, but it's a good fight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna watch it, man. These people that act like it's just crazy. It always leaves me. I'm not gonna say bewildered, because if you try to understand a fool, you're gonna become a fool. So I'm not gonna say, because bewildered would imply like I'm confused and I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to figure it out, but I'm just like astonished by how people could not want to see those fights, but then get excited for some of the other fights that they see. Like, I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. But it's just funny. Some of these same people that are denouncing Canelo versus Munguia are excited to see Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I promise you. You know, so it's just real wild to me, man. It's real wild to me how people pick and choose, man. So I look forward to the fights, man. I'm really looking forward to Vasily Lomachenko and Kambosos as well, man. I don't know who I got in that one. I'm leaning towards Lomachenko, but that's going to be a good fight too, man, because Kambosos could come with it. And I think, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to say it's over for the loser, but I think the person that loses between Lomachenko and Kambosos, I don't think that I think they're going to be knocked down to somewhat gatekeeper status for up-and-comers, or for prospects or people coming up to make a name for themselves. I don't know if they're going to be like considered I don't think the loser is going to be considered a serious contender anymore. Serious championship level contender. So I think that I'm not gonna say their careers are landing, because they like I said, they're still gonna be a good name. But I think that you know, that I think their time is being like a top notch guy, number one in the conversation, being like top 3 guy, top 4 guy in their division. I think for the loser, I think those days are over. You know, I think Lomachenko is gonna win, but like I said, I'm not counting out Kambosos. I just think that Lomachenko matches up well against Kambosos. I think he's gonna be too slick for Kambosos. He's gonna be too quick for Kambosos, but we'll see though. You know, I'm still not 100% on that one. Yeah, I want to look at it some more and ponder that and think about that some more. But yeah, we got this. What do we got this weekend? We got we got William Zepeda versus Maxie Hughes. I think that's gonna be a pretty easy fight for Zepeda. I think he's gonna knock him out. But I was looking at the betting numbers, and Maxie Hughes goes the distance. You could I think it's triple your money. So I'm thinking about putting a bet on that, man. Hopefully that Maxie Hughes could go the distance, but I don't think he will. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think he will, man. I think Zepeda gonna get him up out of there. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I don't know. I think sometimes we just gotta, like I say, if you don't have to watch it. You know, of course we should complain if we're the consumer. If something doesn't sit right by us, there's nothing wrong with complaining. But to go ahead and fake it, flaunt and flag like, oh, this is just the worst fight that you ever seen, bro. There's been way worse fights than that, and that you supported. And people making all this these false claims that, oh, back in my day or back in the day, it's not even your day because you're young too. But back in the day, everybody used to fight everybody. That's not freaking true either. That is not true. Everybody did not fight everybody as long as business has been around. You know what I'm saying? Like, people get mad at these people for fighting. Yes, I'm a fan. I want to see the best fight the best. But at the same time too, you know, we're talking about it's just basic common sense, basic economics and life. You know, everybody works for a check. So if I could do one job over here and get paid to do the same job over there, but it'll be easier for me and I get more money, why wouldn't you go for the easier route and get more money for doing the same job? So basically what I'm saying is, if you go and box and you have boxer A who's a difficult time, and you get X amount of money, but then you got boxer B who's easier and you get even more money, why wouldn't you go that way? Now we got to start looking at stuff and stop blaming the boxers all the time. We got to look at the purse bids or whatever it is, or reasons why the better fights are making less money, you know, or attracting less money, you know. So that's the issue. That's why I say that I always say Canelo not fighting Benavidez is worse than Bud not fighting Boots, because at least with Bud and Boots, Bud could say that Boots doesn't bring in money, and he's true. He doesn't have any monetary value. Bud has other options that generate more revenue. Canelo, on the other hand, he doesn't. I think Canelo and Benavidez is the biggest fight, not just from a competitive standpoint, but also from a revenue generation standpoint too. So it's very hard to make it. As much as I like Canelo, you know, it's very hard to be an apologist for why, or try to even justify why he's not fighting him. You know, I don't know, but I don't think he's scared, and I do think Canelo wins. Just like I think Bud beats Boots as well. Like I said, I would love to see it, but you know, I'm not gonna ignore information. That means you're ignorant. So I'm not gonna ignore information and say you don't want to fight him. So it is what it is, man. Like I said, if you're really upset about it, boycott it. Don't watch Canelo versus Munguia. Don't watch it. That's how we would do it. We won't support those fights. And if enough people, if everybody that says they don't want Canelo to fight Munguia, if everybody didn't watch them, that'll hurt their pockets, and I bet you then Canelo will fight Benavidez. And you know what I'm saying? But you're not gonna boycott it. You just want to throw a hissy fit, like a little woman on Twitter. I shouldn't say woman, but like a little kid, I should say. you want to throw a little fit on Twitter and y'all have all this fake rage and stuff like that. You gonna be front row. You probably already ordered the fight pre-sale. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be watching it just like everybody else, man, because it is a good fight. So yeah, while something's not the best, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, that's just true. So. It's just true, man. It's always been about $1, man. So I look forward to Canelo versus Munguia, and I'm hoping that we get Canelo versus Benavidez soon. I just hope we don't get Canelo versus Jake Paul, man, because I will say that, I will admit that, you know, Canelo look a little shaky when he going to go fight Benavidez, man. I mean, he look a little shaky, and I wouldn't put it past him to fight Jake Paul, especially if Jake Paul beats Mike Tyson, you know. So we'll see, man. Hopefully Terrence Crawford beats Eubanks Jr., Canelo beats Munguia, and then we can see Canelo and Crawford, or Canelo and Benavidez, man. But maybe that's wishful thinking, but we shall see, man. I know Berlanga's talking about fighting Danny Jacobs, so you know, I that's the thing, because if Berlanga fights Danny Jacobs, that means he's occupied. So I'd rather see Berlanga. I don't want to see Canelo versus Berlanga either, but I'd rather see Canelo versus Berlanga than Canelo versus Jake Paul. And the way it's lining up is like, okay, so Canelo fights Munguia, and let's say he beats him. Then Terrence Crawford is already tied up fighting Chris Eubanks Jr., say he beats him. And then Berlanga is about to get tied up fighting Danny Jacobs. So if Canelo beats Munguia And then guess who's fighting right around that time? Jake Paul beats Mike Tyson. They're fighting around the same time. Berlanga's going to be occupied fighting Daniel Jacobs. Terrence Crawford going to be occupied fighting Eubanks. Dave Benavidez is going to be occupied fighting Vosdick. And then guess who's going to be open? Jake Paul's going to call out Canelo like he has been. And, man, I'm telling you, bro, Canelo might accept. And that's because, you know, as I said, if Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is an exhibition, I feel like you don't have to worry about that as much. But if it's a professionally sanctioned fight, it's going to make it seem like, hey, man, I got a real boxer on my resume now. I can fight Canelo. That's just corny as hell, bro. I think that right there is just, I don't know, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'll tell you this: if Canelo fights Jake Paul, I'll say this.
Nigga, you's a bitch.
As much as I like Canelo, if he fights Jake Paul, and it is what it is, bro. Yo puta. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate y'all rocking me as always, man. I love y'all for real. Don't forget to like the video, and yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow. We on Monday through Friday. Monday through Friday at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We streaming every Monday through Friday. So. We'll go ahead and call it on this one, man. Don't really have nobody to debate or anything, so what the heck? Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I love y'all. We out. God bless. God bless. Y'all be cool. Remember, with God we can do anything. Without God, we are nothing. It's a quick little video right there, man. Y'all be easy. God bless. Peace.
From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.